Greetings everyone and welcome back at Taroko Railways with me Elizabeth. Today we're going to look at the X marks the spot. Yes, definitely. The gunpowder van, which is also referred to in the code names of wagons given in the GWR time, and that would be the cone wagon. That will be the cone gunpowder van. So today's gunpowder van is the GPV, and it will be the W105720 by Dapol, a weathered edition. So looking at this beautiful wagon that we have here, which is normally started off as goods wagons that turned into a cone van, which is now a gunpowder van in the GWR timeline. And we can see beautiful weathering done, as well as good quality finishes like rails and riveting and the handrails and the buffer stoppers and the metal wheels. That's also great, and the implers, and very light little vans, but really great to have on the layout with the numbering detail and the gunpowder description, as we can see here. And then also just one more thing I wanted to mention is that in these days that we are looking for best pricing on new wagons and vans and a rolling stock for our layout, this is definitely a great option to consider of Dapol, because if I had to wait for my local suppliers to get a Hornby van in, I'll probably wait 10 years. It's just they are really hard to come by in South Africa, and although I have managed to find a couple that were damaged on the second-hand market, it wasn't really worth investing in them. So I was very happy to find this brand new Dapol van from my local supplier at a very good price, and so I went ahead and purchased it immediately. So having said that, so you can add whatever we are needing from different suppliers, and I do mix. I do have Wren, Dapol, Triang, Hornby, BACHMANN. I've got all the different suppliers rolling stock on my layout, and that is definitely a reason not to give up on your dream, because although it is not a Hornby, it's still an item that I love on the layout. And I think you all will agree that why pay an excessive price and wait another year or 2 years before you can get stock. And if you do have a local supplier that actually build their own vans, that will also be a great option to go for. But if you're stuck with options and this is the only option open, this is a great finish and a really great addition to any layout. And well done Dapol for the finishes on this van. And to also understand the importance of gunpowder and safety regulations and the issues and challenges that they had transporting these explosives, we have to understand the history on gunpowder. And gunpowder is the first explosive to have been developed, and popularly as one of the 4 great inventions of China. So gunpowder bombs had been mentioned since the 11th century and 1000 AD. A soldier by the name of Tong Fu described his war methods and referred to the bombs manufactured as flying fire. So gunpowder technology also spread to naval warfare eventually, and the introduction of hard shell explosives were next. The hand cannon also were developed. To think explosives were used between the Jin dynasty and Song dynasty. From there, the world picked up on it and soon it was used in mining and hackers and building, demolishing and war effects, and all found its way to give this X a new meaning. To understand the wagon's history, we probably have to go back to the first creations of the wagons and how they were built to handle the transport and demand and the challenges of transporting various items on the railway. Most of the GWR wagons were painted brown in the early years of GWR, but changed to red before the end of the broad gauge in 1892. A dark grey livery was introduced about 1904 and continued to be used until 1947. On these wagons, a lot of information was painted on, so the owner of the wagon were identified by GWR painted in small letters on the underframe or bottom plank of the body. From 1904, the initials changed to a large painted GW only. The earliest wagons were of an open type wagon and essentially a four-sided box. Specific wagons were built for specific traffics, so these early wagons were generally open at the top, and as specific need grew, demand grew for vans. By 1860, meanwhile, covered wagons were built in ever-increasing numbers. These MINK vans were initially constructed from wood. But between 1886 and 1902, iron was used instead, and more than 4,000 such vehicles were built. Vans for special loads included shock-absorbing vans with the body anchored to the underframe by springs, and also grain hoppers. Perishable traffic was carried in mica, or mica, wherever you want to pronounce it. It's MICA, and these are all part of the code names as mentioned before. So carried in mica, ventilated X1 and mica A, and B refrigerated X2 etc. Meat vans, mica was the code name used for meat vans. Fish vans S6 etc. was also developed, or even the fruit vans with extra ventilation. Although banana vans were fitted with heating equipment to help ripen their loads, the other wagons were considered upgraded, ventilated, and great to be used for all these various products. And motor cars were loaded through doors on closed wagons, and in the ends of that names they were used as code names Asmo, Damo and Mogo, which meant covered motor or car truck, and also the bogie car, which was called the bow car. Here we have a classic example, number 58725, that arrived on SVR on 29 April 1977, and that was from Kashmir at Great Bridge, carrying BRW number W204988, and evidence of its SR livery was discovered during a restoration in 1980. Thank you everyone for joining me again today when we looked at the Dapol Gwr Gunpowder van. Thanks for joining me, and all take care as always. All my best. Regards, Elizabeth.